horses. We'll have, basically we can have 1,400 horses on the whole campus because we're allocating 74 acres. I've been talking for 3 years to a man in Austin who has one of the best programs with the highest rate of kids who are hardened, I mean really hardened, that never go back into the system because of the equestrian program that they have. And he works with 15 to 19-year-olds. So we're going to adopt some of, thank you. We're going to adopt.
14, no? Huh?
Yeah, 14. We have one missing. Robin's missing.
Oh, 15, yeah.
Okay.
She's on the way.
She'll be here. So we'll adopt programs that have been established. And then Leno suggested about 6 months ago that we look into coffee, and I was amazed. We only have 324 acres that we're dedicating to coffee, and that actually produces 1/4 of our annual budget at $5 a pound. And it's amazing, right? So we have chickens. We need 6,250 chickens to actually provide 2 eggs a day per person. We'll end up with
This is gonna be a lot of eggs.
a lot of eggs, but then it's really good to toil back into the soil.
That's
right? So we're really great. And the pigs, and I kept saying, you know, I don't like pigs. I really don't. Nothing, no offense, but I don't like pigs. But for the methane gas, it's another alternative fuel.
What about,
So-
I was going to suggest maybe some cattle and then maybe some goats, because
We
goat milk
have
is very
both.
good.
We have all.
Oh, good. Oh,
We got
good.
a
I can't handle cows.
It's tiny. I'm sorry.
I don't know if this will help or not.
I've seen it.
The organic farm
Okay.
is only 297 acres, and with the new hydroponics and some of the other things, Chris Downs is one of the top 5 people in the country who produces organic farms, and he is full-time on board with the school. I met him while I was back in Colorado last November, so I'm really excited about that. And just so happens his wife Heather is one of the top herbologists in the country, and so she's going to be working with John, being able to get the right herbs so we can produce our own organic herbs. So we'll be really excited. We have 83 acres in herb garden, John. There's more than enough there for us. The vineyard, 341 acres in vineyard, and I was up in Sonoma a couple weeks ago with one of the people I'm going to Dubai to speak at the end of the month, and one of the people who's also going for Phoenix came up, and we went up and we went to one of the vineyards, and I said, how would I find a sommelier or somebody who could actually help with the vineyard? And they said that the best way of doing it is going to UC Davis because they have one of the best programs. And so now we have that solved. And so we're looking at, you know, having vines that are maybe 3 years old, so we won't start from scratch. And because it's 5 years before you can get production out of the grapes. And so the vineyard itself produces $2 million a year in grapes and wine, right? At only $5 a bottle. So we'll have like staff rates. And then the manufacturing, and I'm really proud of this. Judy, could I see your manufacturing sheet again? We have 198 acres for manufacturing. We're going to be doing our own steel fabrication. So, you know, the steel bolts, like you've all heard about the bolts that have been breaking, you know, from the China manufacturing. We're not going to allow that to happen because we'll be manufacturing our own. And then we have the flooring, and then we have for the ceiling. So we're going to fabricate all of our own materials as much as possible. And then when I was in Belize 4 years ago, I told the realtor that I wanted to use polystyrene, and he said, you want what? And I said, okay, that's what I want to do, polystyrene. And he said he knew somebody who had a polystyrene. There's 8 plants in the world, and one just happens to be in Belize. All right, so that's how magical this school has been. Well, the thing that's really amazing about it is that Nikki decided a year ago to go back to Paris so his kids could be educated in Paris. So he's leaving Belize, and he's been holding off on selling the equipment so that I could buy it. It's $800,000 in equipment, and it's $275,000 that he's selling it to me. And it comes with $50,000 a year in contracts to make the polystyrene shipping containers for the tilapia, which is one of the biggest exports that the fishermen have. So, you know, we'll keep those contracts, obviously, because we're really conscious about creating jobs. If you can't figure it out, Ray is a master craftsman in wood. If not,
Figured that one out. Sure.
I came here one time when he was just laying out this window on the floor. He made this.
That is so
by hand.
difficult, I know how difficult that is.
I mean, everything just astonishes me, and if you haven't noticed,
It's
the
amazing.
gate which was open, the
Yes.
front door, and this
Yes.
window, and the door back, I mean, they all tie together.
That's why I knew it was in the right place.
Oh, you did?
Yes, I picked it up.
Wow, very cool. So we'll have our own, we're gonna manufacture our own desk, and we're gonna design like the beds that'll have the drawers come out underneath, you know, and so everything will be very efficient. But Ray's gonna design, we'll have our own there, and then our coffee roaster, our organic fuel processing. Now, Ray came up with this really cool tree from the Philippines, that in 7 years it creates a pod that can be created for fuel. So we can convert all of our vehicles to this organic fuel, and then the fodder can be given to the cattle for feed. And it's so efficient, it's so conscious, right? So we're doing some really cool things. We're gonna be doing canning, because I started to say that the organic farming, only 287 acres actually produces enough food for 20,000 people. So we've just started a new nonprofit, and it's called Feed the World. So when there's a natural disaster, we're going to be airlifting. Now my choice is we're going to have some helicopters. Who's a helicopter Navy person? They're like, there's a name for them, like
Seals?
Hemis. No, seals are like water people, but do you know that the huge double rotor Chinooks?
Oh,
They're Chinooks,
crazy.
yeah. So if I have my choice, you only need 3 acres to land a Chinook,
That's right.
right? So we would have our own, and as soon as we hear of a disaster, we'd airlift the food to the disaster area. So we'll have lots of places for storage for all the food. And then the glass manufacturing is so that we can have glass to can, not metal to can, right? Because we all know that we use metal, we use plastic, we're just injecting the wrong chemicals into the food, and we just don't want that. So glass is the only way to go. And also for the herbs, we'll have clean rooms so we can manufacture all of the right herbs in the right glass containers, which we will be making so that we know the tempest testing and all the things that we have to go through for that. And then we're actually going to make our own clothing and shoes, right? So we've kind of been talking about hemp, but we'll have to make that off-site, not at the school site. So there's a lot of things like no one at the school